Hi, Christy here. I'm in my Akashic records again, and my leaping off point is, but I know this already. That's a quote. Not just from me, but from many of us, right? Is that if there's some issue you've looked at, like every possible angle, upside down, right side up, backward, inside out. I mean, how many directions are there? You've looked at all of them, and you're still like, oh, even though I know all this about this, like I could be the world's expert on this thing, I still have this problem. And I'm bringing this up not because it's just a nice little topic, but because this weekend I got triggered by something that really I would have thought wouldn't have bothered me. Yes, I am still human. It's all still true. So I'm also sort of invested in this exploration today of like, well, what do we do with this when we've really explored it to exhaustion, if you will? All right. So first, I jotted a few notes in case I got stuck. That's what I've done for these lately. And so one of the things I wanted to ask about is sort of what accelerates moving through the thing, whatever it is, the trigger or the relapse or whatever the issue is, or the feeling of stuck, like, oh, this is where I've been, I've always been here, I can never get out of here. So looking in here, there is of course, one of my personal favorites is curiosity. Like, what is this about? What if this stays forever? Not one of my personal favorites, but or anybody's really. And, also the Akashic question of how is this good for me? How could this possibly be good for me? Particularly when it's lingering. The possibly comes in. I was like, oh, come on. This can't possibly be good for me. All right, so let's say it is. Let's say it's good for us at some unimaginable level at this point. And can we just be curious? Is there something I have missed that I don't get at an intellectual level, or that is still integrating and still being processed and still forming, if you will? So, hand in hand with curiosity is amusement. I mean, can we not laugh at ourselves or mock ourselves, but be like, okay, that happened. I probably said that a bunch of times in these videos. But like, how can we not take ourselves too seriously? Even if the thing is serious and it's important to us and whatever, all right, we're just being humans. That's all we got. We don't have any other options. So there you go. The other one that's huge is non-attachment. In Wayne Muller's book, Legacy of the Heart, The Spiritual Advantages of a Difficult Childhood, one of the chapters that just came back to me is disappointment and non-attachment, right? Because when do we get disappointed? We get disappointed when there's something we really want. There's something we're really invested in having. And if we don't get it, then we're disappointed. So what if we try at least a scotch of less attachment to, I should never be triggered by this. Okay, how about if I am, it's okay. And that's also good information. That's one of the things I get in the records a lot, is this idea that, all right, that's more data. That's more information. That clues you into something. And cumulatively, over time, sometimes too much time, hopefully something coalesces and we go, this isn't just an intellectual knowing anymore. This is a knowing at a cellular level. This is a knowing that transcends being able just to say it. Because we can mouth things all day. Oh, that's what I always tell my friends. Yes, and we teach what we need to learn. So those are sort of the accelerants that they're talking about things moving more quickly. Basically, when we sort of loosen our grip on whatever it is, whether it's attachment, whether it's, I'm not curious, I'm not taking anything else in. There's no receptivity, there's no openness. And then if we think it's just not funny, because it always is kind of funny, sort of. All right, so then how about the brakes? What things slow us down? Attachment, of course, but I'm going to try to bring a little bit of a different twist on this is black and white thinking, right? Or perfectionism. Like, I know this, so I should never, ever, ever, the rest of my life, have this crop up for me, which is just not realistic for most things. My father told me that like 25 years after he quit smoking, he would have the urge to smoke. Every now and then, he never did, he didn't smoke, but it was amazing how that lingered in his psyche of, I could have a cigarette. Ding! Just because we have the thought too, just because the thought comes through, doesn't mean we have to do anything with it. Also doesn't mean that our brains are malfunctioning. It can just mean, there's my brain doing what it does. It runs through these patterns and routines. Once upon a time, I smoked cigarettes, meaning my father, and suddenly the brain's like, I remember that. Okay. And again, not being hard on ourselves when we're, falling back into those patterns or falling forward, those patterns, face planting into those patterns. So yeah, self-judgment is so much a part of this too, of what's wrong with me? Why haven't I gotten over it? I know this already. I listened to a astrology reading I had in 2014 recently. And I was like, but I know this. Like, okay. I too have been in this place. I mean, I am in a very different place from what I was describing in that particular reading, but we don't like it when we understand and yet have not taken the next step. But how could we take the next step until we understand? So it is a progression, of course. And following along on that is this idea of not getting fixated on the thoughts, not getting fixated on the shoulds. I should be in a different place by now. Nope, because we're always exactly where we need to be. Does anybody hate that idea? Hate that maxim of, this is perfect for us? Really? Yes. And can we say it's perfect for us in this moment, but it is a foundation for us to move to something different? I really love the idea of, this is now, and something new is always coming. We don't have to feel locked in, trapped, even if we're seeing the same thing go around the spiral. Oh, there's that trigger again. There's that thing again. There's what happens. Okay, but something has probably changed. You have probably changed since the last time it happened. And if not, you're still accumulating all the pebbles they're building the pile. We're dropping something into the container, and slowly but surely something is happening. I'm a big believer in micro movements, that we don't necessarily see what's going on real time, particularly because we're in the middle of it. And then later we look back, like me looking at that listening to that astrology reading going, wow, what a different place I was in 11 years ago. Anyway, hopefully that gives you some things to ponder related to knowing. I'd love to hear in the comments below if anything sort of jumped out at you. And of course, if there's anything you'd like me to explore, I'm going to continue doing these, and hopefully they resonate with you and you find them interesting. So anything in the comments below would be great. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And in the meantime, please, go be brilliant.